producer, editor, and Irishman. I think what's fascinating as well, that David only had 2 previous outings as a director. Both, I suppose, they were zero budget, Pulp Fictioners.
Yeah.
Unashamed to do so. But from those to this is a huge leap. I've only seen the trailers for the other 2, but their sensibility is quite different. This is so humane, and the others are, I wouldn't, it'd be harsh to say exploitative, but that zero budget filmmaking forces you to go out on a limb, particularly in Denmark, because when you, in a film industry that has guys like Von Trier and William Refn, I mean, talk about guys who not only push the boat up, but set fire. But based on that part, just with that achievement to jump to this must have been, was it partly a budgetary thing? How did you get here from there?
Well, I think Bakerman originally was had even a bigger, ambitious project. It was called something else. It was bigger in scope. It was called White Pig, and there was a lot of bigger scope to this story. Pared it down. Just focus on this guy Jens, because when I was sending the script out to actors and to crew, it was the Jens was the most interesting character of the piece. The rest of the other characters.
He wasn't originally the central character.
No.
He became that.
Yeah, he became that. And then I think from my previous experiences, I know I want to shoot low budget, so it was a good thing and a bad thing. But also I want to explore something different. As you say, a little bit of humane, even though he's a bad guy, but just even the bad guys think they're good guys. So I want to give him some sort of a streak of humanity.
Because it is a very humane film. I mean, I know this is a function of the Danish film industry. I was talking to you around the summer a couple of years ago. Who's the producer of either The Killing or The Bridge? They're talking about how with their crime drama there, they expect, or even their dramas like Foreman, that they expect it to have not enough to be just entertaining. It has to have socio-political depth. And you can see that you're striking for that here. I mean, there are issues of race, prejudice, identity.
Yeah, and I think that's Denmark, that's Copenhagen. It's a multicultural. There's people who made this movie were they're they say second generation Danes, come from Turkey, come from all different countries.
Limerick.
Limerick as well, and Bulgaria and all. So
I think shocking amount of nepotism there. Everybody in that
It's called begging. please, yeah. So, I think you look at other filmmakers around you, and of course you, as a filmmaker yourself, you try to learn and try to improve, and you look, as you say, previous films were more very pulpy and almost going on the, as you say, exploitation angle, which is, I think, also a learning experience.
Remember what you said about last exit was, because it was shot in 2 weeks with almost no crew.
Yeah.
Let's just do it and see what you can do for no money, and then let's make a real movie.
Exactly.
And I think with your third movie, you'd fulfill that already. I'd love to see what you do with a real budget and a complete freedom to make the film that you would write without having to cut it.
Yeah, of course. As you say, it comes down to economy a lot of times, and timing and getting the right producer. But
what did Bakerman cost? Or is that you?
No. Actually, I had no budget on it. I did a small bit of funding, crowdfunding.
Because it looks wonderful.
We shot it on cinematographer had his own camera. He had a Blackmagic 4K. I don't know if it means anything for anyone, but it's a high-end camera. And he has his own camera and his own lenses, so we played around with using different wide-angle lenses, and so I think getting the crew together as well. They had some fun using their equipment, and of course Mikkel Balsov, who played Jens. He comes actually from a comedic background and a theatre. So when I was casting him, he was very theatrical, so I had to kind of clear him down. Be like,
He's built like a Russian circus clown. You can see him also.
We you know, when you shoot, but I learned over the years, when you shoot low budget, shoot what you have, you know, don't try anything that makes it look, makes it silly, because you can't use it for anything, so, yeah.
Because they do love their stylisation in Denmark, and look so guys up there, like I said, wet from the UK. They stylize the shit out of stuff.
They do.
And it's
People are getting tired of it, I think.
Oh yes, style porn. I mean, it is stuff, it's style porn. But the temptation to go there, because I'm curious where you would go next. Are you going to go, were your earlier movies, were they exploitative Pulp Fiction pieces because you have to push the boat out with budget stuff, or was it just done for marketability? Because you did get distribution with
my early films, I think I was, you know, I was inspired by all the Z-grade, low-budget films, you know, because you watch, being an avid film guy, you watch so many films, and then you say, okay, is there something interesting in the bargain bin? And you watch a lot of exploitation films, and sometimes they're actually more experimental, and you see things that you wouldn't see in a normal Hollywood film. So I ended up for a few years watching some of those. So I wanted to make one of those in this one last day. Not that I recommend anyone to see it, but it is what it is.
No, it's interesting that the fact that you did do it with such short notice, but it is about getting it done and get it you know, get it done now rather than get it over.
Yeah, and I think you learn a lot by just shooting it, and also I found when I shot those early ones that editing is really key, because you really finalize the story in the editing suite if you have. If you get access to.
I meant to ask you about that because Ben Wheatley was here with Free Fire last night, and because he's a guy with his own work, he took on that question from him. As it turned out, there was an editor in the room, which he predicted the guy was an editor. And he said, "You're asking this question because the editors always have this view. Without an editor, what I call the third eye, you can get lost in your own work. And I've seen stuff where definitely there should have been somebody there to go, guys, you've just completely, you know, disagreed with your own harsh decision."
You do because you shoot one scene and it might take a full week, and then you say, okay, I have to keep the scene because it took a week and it broke my heart, and you feel a lot of emotions in the scene. So yeah, that there's some truth. There's some truth to that. Why should I throw away that when you spend a week doing it? But it doesn't matter.
Have you had moments like that where you just can't let it go, can't kill your baby?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't particularly like watching my films, to be honest, because I just.
Because you've seen it 4,000 times.
I've seen it a few times, and then I just see, I do that different now, and then you're always kind of editing in your mind. So, yeah, but that you learn.
What's the Danish industry like to work in? I was going to say, can you compare to the Irish industry, but you were a young guy when you did that.
Yeah,
By the way, just background, you dropped out of art college and went to Australia.
Went to
scenic route to
I went to Australia, just
discovered America on the way, probably.
No, I went to Australia and went
Study drama, acting.
I mean, I did a bit of acting, but I also did a little bit of writing. And I met my Danish wife there. So then when I was going back, I decided to try. I lived in Denmark for a while, maybe for a few months, and ended up being
What's the industry like to do with?
It's I think it's good, but I was just talking to my brother-in-law, and he actually works in the reclaim in the advertising business, and he said what he hears is that people are getting sick and tired now of the Nordic Nor, you know. So there's a bit of a backlash maybe, but I think generally they're very competent, they're very good technicians. Getting funding is a different story, you know. It's a bit of a closed system. So I've tried that with producers for several years. I actually tried to get this one, and it was a bigger try to get a producer for 2-3 years, and I was like, okay, how long does it take before?
It's not easy here. People only call it a closed shop when they haven't got in.
Yeah, exactly. You get in there,
pull the ladder up after, I suppose. But what's the sensibility of the Danes like compared to your own? I mean, if you were doing comedy, for instance, which you did heavily in your first 4 acts, from what I can see, because I often see their sense of comedy is so dark, it's so crazy, they push it so far out. Yeah. Is it some reaction against the Lutheran psychology, which is only different than our own? Because I always think the Irish are a bit of training racetrack to the Black Sea. Does your sensibility gel with?
Yeah, well, I'm a very black consumer, so it's me perfect. But yeah, especially like you mentioned, one there, he's He's just a very crazy black guy. But yeah, I don't know. I think they have a morbid sense of humor, that's for sure. But they also like the slapstick. You know, they also like the humor.
They really are leading the way though, just but not just the TV dramas, but it does the film alternative. Yeah, do you reckon that's waning slightly?
I think so. I actually want to do a science fiction movie next.
Right. With heart.
What?
With heart.
Yeah, actually, it's almost like a children's movie, so it's something very different than what I'm doing before.
Do you have a bunch of projects that, if you were given all the money you wanted, for argument's sake?
Yeah, but I've written a couple of Irish scripts as well. I have something, also an Irish comedy in the 70s, around Cork and Limerick.
There's never been a comedy. There's no comedy in Cork. You don't
There's no such thing for it.
Have you joking me?
No, but I love the colourful language. I love the colourful language. That's what I miss in some ways with games.
I'm a last Sportman, so yeah.
Okay.
Exactly what you're talking about.
So I love
Cork Wave will take over from the anyway. Just watch that,
Okay.
Just keep your surfboard handy.
I will. Okay.
Would you consider coming home?
Yeah, definitely.
You said like home to be really.
Yeah, but I think Ireland is always no home. Denmark's my adopted country, but I always love coming home. And as I mentioned, even this weekend, when the weather is fine, Ireland is the best country in the world.
Morris arranged that.
Okay,
Get in there, ask him his favourite colour, like I said.
anyone else have any questions? Do you think it's interesting?
What movie influenced this movie? And if you had an unlimited budget, what would be the ideal movie to make? 2 questions there.
The influence is a bit tricky. Usually when you have a project, you have a script. I usually make a mood board, and I usually have a couple of different movies to get inspired by. But this one actually, one movie, I don't know if you know a movie called Shane. Shane was I think. So that was a very slow, quiet movie with a lot of.
Steve McQueen?
Yeah, Steve McQueen. So we liked the style of that. It was very slow and quiet and paused. So we took so that's a great film, and also it's about a character who was in a fiction. That was one film, and so that was it. In unlimited budget, I have no idea. I'll just take it as it comes.
Thank you.
There's a baby Russian oligarch in the audience, I mean, you better have an answer for that. Did you win anyone? No.
Yes.
Did you have a big choice to choose the actor, or because it almost seems as if the film was made to suit the actor?
Yes.
Just right. If you can
It was-
follow what I'm trying to say.
No. So this guy, Mikkel, he was the third choice. Initially, when I was starting, I wanted an actor called, I don't know if you know him, he's a famous Danish actor called Ulrik Thomsen. He's in a few, he's quite popular in Denmark. He's also in the Banshee, I think, the American TV series. So he was reading the script and he was interested, but then, budget-wise, it didn't work out. And then I had another actor, but he was, we say, a normal actor. We did some sort of pilot scenes, but I wasn't very happy.
You did it very well.
Yeah, and this guy stood out to me when I was looking. I was like, this guy is the Bakerman. He came in and it never worked out. So took about three goes.
Because he manages to be intimidating and vulnerable at the same time, and it's adequate.
Yeah, and he's a very if you get to know Mikkel, he's a very sensitive guy, and also he comes from comedy and theatre, so he can do a lot with his face. So there's a balance of kind of taking that away and wanting to display. But he is a very sensitive guy. If you read him, he'll be like quiet and timid. He's not as with that movie.
I don't know if I missed it or you didn't credit the music, and I would like to know.
Yeah, the music actually was done by, I'm in agreement with the sound guy. You know, when you make independent movies, the sound people are the hardest people to get on the set. So the sound guy said he would do the sound if he could do the music as well for the film. So I made an agreement. A guy called, he's a Bulgarian guy called Stan, and he got some help with another Dane called Anders Dave. So yeah, I started the music. It kind of, I wanted to kind of a retro 80s vibe.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's going to be 80s vibe, though, just to give it a little bit of a.
The last one sounded to me like Lightning Seeds.
Sorry?
The last one seemed a bit like Lightning Seeds.
Okay.
I wish.
Okay. Actually, I wanted the final song I wanted to have was a Danish song called Bakerman. It was a big hit, and but I couldn't get the rights to it. So
They had you where they wanted you, yeah?
yeah. But then the music guy, he took the riff from that song and he made a new song at the end, which is fine.
Oh, I really enjoyed the movie. The girl who was being beaten by her brother, I wondered if you at any point in the script or if the actress had made a decision about why she was, what happened with the family, like why she was being beaten by her brother.
I know.
You know?
I think I do. I think that she's probably forced into marriage.
Yeah, yeah, you're onto the right thing. There was a background, you know, because there's a lot of that going on even in Denmark. A lot of with Muslim marriages and stuff like that. So, but we didn't want to make it about that. So we wanted to keep it on the surface.
Right.
That it was when you mentioned just was family. That was enough to say okay, it was something there. Yeah. So. So yes.
But was that ever part of the plot or part of the actors?
Yeah, they knew about it. I told them, yeah, definitely it was a family thing, and she was doing something bad, and she was being punished by the brother. So, yeah. Hopefully that answered.
I was really hoping you could answer that one. Joe Money's the director side of the last one. It's called Modern.
Yeah, but
That's what I really saw in it.
yeah, but I hate to make up your own mind. But I know it's annoying too to hear.
What was your favourite scene in the movie?
My favourite scene?
Yeah.
Actually, my favourite scene is probably, you might laugh, is the worst scene. It's the one where the girl is actually Tron. Because the reason why
For the impact of it.
yeah, because it was just such a great day. We shot it in one day, and the girl was doing it. It was so much fun to do it, and she had 2 or 3 scenes, and a lot of these scenes were shot at night, and a lot of people were like hungry and tired, and it was a lot stressful. But this scene was shot on a Sunday, and everyone was in a good mood, and we had a good breakfast, and we went out and we shot it. And everyone was happy, and we shot it. And we liked the scenes.
You feed the back.
So even though it was one of the roughest scenes, it ended up fun scene to shoot.
Where did the idea of Bakerman come from?
It's always a tricky one. I think initially I wanted to tell a story about one single person and frustrated with society. You know, a lot of us. It's a work. I say it's a working class story. A lot of us in our lives, we get up in the morning, we go to work, and we get frustrated about different things in the world, and we don't do anything. You know, we let the authorities do it. So I want to tell a story about this one single guy. Some of the traits of Bakerman is actually taken from my late father.
That's why you left him.
It's scared of him. No, but he's wearing sunglasses and get up in the morning. He had a very specific, way of eating his breakfast. So I got a little bit of inspiration from that.
From that, yeah.
Cool.
How long did it take you to film it?
Initially it was 4 weeks, but we shot for 2 weeks, and the main actor, Mikkel, he got sick after 2 weeks, and then afterwards the rest of the 2 weeks of shoots we shot over the weekend for about a year, because he went and did some theatre. He had 2 theatres to do, and then he was just saying, kept on sending me his schedules. David, I had a free day here, a free day there. Basically, I said, okay, Mikkel, when you're free. And then I scheduled in for a few days, and I took the actors in, we shoot scenes. So the biggest fear is getting continuity,
Yeah.
right? But I think actually it was good because Mikkel, he was actually good. Okay, I have a bit of stubble now here. What am I wearing this day? And so he helped with continuity. But I was worried when he got sick after 2 weeks. I was saying, oh my God, I'll never get it done now because it was well scenes. But putting it all together, around 4 weeks.
Well done, Ray.
Sorry?
Well done.
David, will you get to release it generally in Denmark or in the Scandinavian countries, or will it get a cinema audience?
I don't know yet. I think now it's just, it's going out and it's doing some festivals. A lot of independent films, do the festival route, it's
Yeah.
a way of getting it out there and getting people to see it. And sometimes then, it gets releases and sometimes it doesn't. So I play it by ear. I think a movie like this, I have to be honest, I don't know, it's not a mainstream film. This one's up against Fast and Furious 7.
Well, actually, this is an important point because one of the things that made it very appealing to me was when you get submissions, we get everything from the indulgent art house stuff that just loses all sight of an audience to the overly accessible stuff that you don't need to go to a festival to see. But this is in that window that it has political depth, but it also knows how to connect with an audience. So it's got commercial instinct, but it's also got a moral value for it. It's been ponderous. And I think it's a valuable film. It's a successful piece of narrative, I think. I think you have probably, which of the beauty of it is that it manages to be commercial and valuable. Not everybody can do that, or does bother.
Yeah, I think it's a balance, you try to make something that's, of course, if you make something and nobody goes see it, then you wonder why you make it, but
It's them. It's them.
Yeah.
It's always them.
Yeah, so, but that's a question. I don't know. I haven't even approached. We have a local cinema in Valby where we shot a lot of in Valby, where we did a kind of a screening test, and they were saying, yeah, maybe we'll have a look at it. So, but I haven't followed up, yet, because you always think about the next project, or do something interesting. Because
But I think the significant thing is, before this, you hadn't done something of this caliber. Now you have your track and the evidence of your talent is different. I think spectacularly different from where you were after another term.
It'd be hard to, you have to do something very good to follow on from that, won't it?
or maybe something different. Like to do something different. I think,
Or you just disappear in the Borgen, or the killing, season 7.
Yeah.
How bad?
I don't know. Yeah.
We had an indie director, Steph Green, here a couple of years ago, and she actually shot them in Dingle called Jump, which had been the Sundance project. Steph Green is now directing Billions and all these major American TV dramas. Maybe not where she planned to go, but it's just things take off. Pay your bills for a few years.
See how it goes. Keep my expectations low and just try to keep it interesting. And I've been a writer for years, so I have some projects there. And then talking to some people. So see where it goes, and just keep it interesting and try to do something different. And so I play it by ear, see how it goes. But I definitely like to make something in Ireland because I think some of my favourite films, are Irish films, and it has the language, A lot of the time when they're making this is actually a very quiet film. I think once someone said it, that it's very, very quiet, it's almost silent. But I actually also like language, and so I want to make something with.
And we're verbal bastards.
Yeah, verbal, but they're also very witty and funny as well. And I think if you like, you don't hear that so.
The other advantage you have is, the film board here, the industry here tends to look away from the States. That's changing a bit. But loves the European co-production. And some direct producers here working with the Danish industry. And
There is,
being part of that nexus might work too.
Yes, and I know even talking to some Danish producers, they're saying, yeah, we could do some Irish project, we'll co-produce, we'll do all the post-production here, because a lot of the post-production houses are getting together, so maybe shoot it there and do the post-production here, and so there's all, if the project suits different parties, then they'll say, yeah.
You would believe some of the stuff that's getting produced, co-produced by Irish companies, you could, why do you even have a wildlife project? Stuff in shop. What? What's the motivation again? So, Denmark is
council houses. There's a lot of them there. I don't know too many of them in Ireland. But I think, matter of time.
Have we fished you all out?
Yeah, but I hope we.
You're just mad for the pub now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I just want to thank everyone for coming and supporting Film, and I want to thank the Film Festival.